The plasma bolt missed her by inches. Princess Queen Valara of the Krenathi Empire hit the ground hard, her ceremonial armor cracking against stone as the assassin's second shot scorched the air where her head had been. She rolled, training, overriding panic, but her guards were already dead, vaporized in the opening salvo. The human janitor was supposed to be 30 floors below. He wasn't. Marcus Webb dropped his mop bucket and moved. Not the frantic scramble of a civilian, the economical glide of someone who'd calculated angles before conscious thought caught up. His hand found the industrial solvent sprayer on his cart. The assassin, some sort of insectoid mercenary species, tracked Valara with professional patience. Marcus sprayed directly into its compound eyes. The creature shrieked, a sound like tearing metal. Its next 3 shots went wild, one punching through the ornate window overlooking the garden district, another melting a priceless statue. Marcus was already moving again, grabbing Valara's wrist. She outweighed him by 40 pounds of muscle and chitin-laced bone, but momentum worked for him. He dragged her behind a marble column as return fire chewed chunks from the architecture. "Service corridor," he said, not a suggestion. A statement of fact delivered in the flat tone of someone used to being obeyed in crisis. 20 feet, you're 9 o'clock. Move when I say. Valara's 4 eyes focused on him with the intensity that had made her feared across 3 sectors. Humans were supposed to be soft, weak. This one had graying hair at his temples and calluses on his hands from cleaning equipment. He met her gaze without flinching. Now, he followed, the sprayer in one hand and something else, a maintenance multi-tool, in the other. The assassin's footsteps clicked on marble, swift and certain. Marcus slammed the corridor door and immediately started working on the electronic lock with the tool. His hands didn't shake. "You altered the mechanism," Valara said, watching him cross wires with practiced efficiency. "Maintenance override. 30-second lockdown, then it'll alert security." He glanced at the transparent portions of the door. The assassin was testing the barrier with careful shots. "You injured?" "No." "When security arrives, you tell them I was never here." Her crest flared. Surprise among her people. You saved the ruler of the Krenathi Empire. You'll be rewarded beyond." "Don't want it!" The lock engaged with a heavy thunk. "My daughter's in university. Human. If your people know I can fight, know I was military, they'll recruit or conscript or offer opportunities. She just got accepted to the xenobiology program. Let me stay invisible." Valara studied him. She'd ruled for 16 cycles, survived 4 assassination attempts, brokered peace treaties and trade wars. She recognized truth when she heard it. This human wanted exactly one thing, to be forgotten. "You have my word," she said. "The Princess Queen of Krenathi does not break oaths." Marcus nodded once. Down the corridor, running footsteps approached. Security, finally. He picked up a mop he'd somehow grabbed during the escape and started pushing it across the floor. When the guards burst through the far entrance, weapons raised, they found their queen standing unharmed and a human janitor calmly cleaning. Valara's statement was brief. She'd fought off the assassin herself. The human had hidden in a supply closet and seen nothing useful. The guards were skeptical but couldn't contradict their queen. Marcus was questioned for 7 minutes, gave vague answers about hearing explosions and following protocol, and was dismissed. He returned to his cart 3 floors down. His hands shook now, just a little, as he replaced the solvent sprayer. The multi-tool went back in his pocket. In 4 hours, his shift would end. He'd take the train home, call his daughter like he did every Sunday, and ask about her exobiology classes. She'd talk about Krenathi neural structure and atmospheric requirements, excited and brilliant and safe. Worth it, he thought. Worth staying invisible. He didn't see Valara watching from a security feed, her expression unreadable. She touched a control on her bracer, and the footage of the attack corridor corrupted itself into static. No record of the human's face. No timestamp. Nothing. But she memorized the ID badge visible for 1.3 seconds during the escape. Marcus Webb, Maintenance Division 7, employee number 40772. The Krenathi had perfect recall. So did their queens. 3 months passed in comfortable anonymity. Marcus cleaned, his daughter excelled, and the Empire moved on. He watched news feeds occasionally. The assassin had been tracked to a rival faction, political tensions were rising, standard galactic drama. None of it touched him. Then Emma called on a Tuesday instead of Sunday. "Dad, something weird happened." Her voice carried that edge she got when trying to sound casual about something serious. "I got offered a research position. Full ride, stipend, access to actual Krinathi medical data for my thesis. Emma, I know it's competitive, but my professor said I earned it. Dr. Xylith even said my proposal on neuroplasticity in multi-lobe brains was the best he'd seen in 5 years. Pride and confusion mixed in her tone. They want me to start next month. At the Imperial Research Center on Krinath Prime. The homeworld.
The center of the Empire.
Where Valara lived. That's great, honey, he managed. Congratulations. After they hung up, Marcus sat very still. Valara had promised he'd stay invisible, but she'd never promised his daughter would. This wasn't recruitment. It was something else. Something that made his old instincts scream warnings he couldn't quite parse. He returned to work, kept his head down, watched. 2 weeks later, Emma sent pictures from Krinath Prime. The research center was state-of-the-art. Her co-researchers brilliant. The data access unprecedented. She looked happy. That should have reassured him. It didn't, because in the background of one photo, just visible through a window, was a building Marcus recognized from security briefings he'd received 2 decades ago in another life, the Imperial Guard headquarters. His daughter was being kept close to the most protected location in the Empire. Protected, he realized. Not recruited. Protected. The implications took another day to settle. Valara had kept her word. Marcus remained invisible, his record clean, his past buried. But she'd noticed what he hadn't said aloud in that corridor. The one thing that could make him visible again was a threat to his daughter. So she'd moved Emma to the one place in the galaxy where the full weight of the Krinathi Empire stood between her and any danger. Marcus should have felt grateful. Instead, he felt the weight of an unpaid debt, and debts to rulers were dangerous things. He'd asked for nothing, accepted nothing, wanted nothing. Valara had given it anyway. Another month passed. Emma's research progressed. Marcus cleaned. Then the news broke across every feed. A coalition of rival houses had attempted a coup, multiple fronts, coordinated strikes. The Empire was at war, and Krinath Prime was under siege. Marcus watched footage of orbital bombardments, of shield generators straining, of the city districts being evacuated. The research center would be in the protected zone, he told himself. Emma would be safe. Then his communicator chimed. Private channel. Encryption he recognized from military service. Valara's face appeared on screen. Behind her, alarms flashed. Marcus Webb, I require your assistance. My daughter is in the secure vaults with the Imperial family and highest priority civilians. She will survive no matter what happens. Valara's crest was flat, her tone absolute. I am calling in the debt you say you do not owe. You saved my life. I protected your child. The accounts are balanced, and I would never demand payment for an oath freely given. Her 4 eyes locked on him through the screen. I am asking, human. Not as a queen, as someone who once received mercy when death was certain. Marcus closed his eyes. Open them. What do you need? The vaults are breached. I need to reach the command center alive. She paused. You know how to fight. I saw it in the corridor. The way you moved. The calculations. You were a soldier. Long time ago. Soldiers don't forget. Will you help me, Marcus Webb? Not for reward. Not for debt. He thought of Emma, safe in those vaults. Thought of Valara keeping her word even when it cost her resources and political capital. Thought of the promise he'd made himself when he left the service. Never again. Send coordinates, he said. I'm coming. The palace was chaos. Marcus moved through it like a ghost. Maintenance uniform getting him past 3 checkpoints before anyone thought to question a human janitor during a crisis. The 4th checkpoint was held by enemy forces. He went around, through service tunnels he'd mapped over months of invisible routine. Valara was pinned in her private chambers, plasma fire keeping her behind overturned furniture. Marcus counted 4 hostiles, professional, well-equipped. They'd breached the palace specifically to kill her before she could reach command and coordinate the defense. He still had his maintenance card, still had the solvent sprayer and multi-tool, or still had muscle memory from 2 decades of combat that his body had never quite forgotten. The first hostile went down to industrial solvent in the eyes, same as the assassin 3 months ago. The second took a wrench to the skull. Marcus had learned long ago that mass times velocity worked regardless of species. The third actually shot him, plasma grazing his shoulder and filling the air with the smell of burned flesh. Marcus barely felt it, adrenaline and old training overriding pain. He killed the third with the 4th one's gun taken during a roll that his knees screamed about.
The fourth tried to flee. Marcus shot them in the back.
No honor in combat, his old drill sergeant had said. Only survival. Villara emerged from cover, staring. You said you were maintenance. I am. Marcus checked the wound. Superficial. He'd had worse. Now we move. Command center's 2 floors up. You know the route? Yes, but... They moved through the palace. Villara in front because she knew the layout. Marcus behind because that's where threats came from. They encountered 2 more hostile groups. Marcus killed 6 more soldiers. Villara watched him work with the methodical brutality of someone who'd learned to turn off emotion during crisis, and something shifted in her expression. The command center's doors were sealed, loyalist forces holding the perimeter. Villara's arrival changed everything. Within minutes, she was coordinating defense, shoring up weak points, redirecting reserves. The tide of battle shifted. Marcus sat against a wall, letting a medic treat his shoulder. He'd done what was asked. Emma was safe. Villara was where she needed to be. He could go back to being invisible now. Except Villara was walking toward him, and her expression promised that invisibility was no longer an option. You're not maintenance, she said quietly. Maintenance specialist, retired military. Both true. He met her eyes. I did what you asked. We're even. Then, softer, Marcus Webb, do you know what you've done? You said, I led you through the palace, past dead guards, past friends I've known for cycles, butchered in the coup attempt. Her crest rose, then fell. You killed 11 soldiers tonight. Elite forces from 3 different houses. You did it with cleaning supplies and improvised weapons, and you were shot and you barely slowed down. Marcus said nothing. My empire spans 40 systems. I have armies, fleets, intelligence networks, and tonight I was saved twice by the same human janitor. She knelt, bringing her eyes level with his. Why did you really leave the military, Marcus Webb? I got good at killing. Too good. Started seeing targets instead of people. Came home one day and looked at my daughter, and for just 1 second, I calculated threat assessment. His voice went flat, so I left. Found the most boring, invisible job I could. Learned to see mop buckets and floors and normal, safe things. Villara was silent for a long moment. And tonight? Tonight I saw threats to you. Because you kept your word and protected Emma. He smiled without humor. Turns out I can still turn it on when I need to. I don't want to need to. I understand. She stood. The coup will be crushed within hours. My reign is secure. Your daughter will be offered transportation home or continuation of her research, her choice, no strings attached. And you? She paused, something complex moving across her features. You will return to being invisible. I give you my word as Princess Queen. No recruitment, no conscription, no opportunities. Your record will remain clean, your service tonight classified beyond even my intelligence chiefs. You will be a janitor, and nothing more. Thank you. Her voice carried the weight of empire now. Know that the Krinithi pay our debts, even to those who want no payment, even to those who ask to be forgotten, especially to those. She walked away before he could respond, returning to the business of rulership and war. Marcus was escorted to a medical bay, treated, and quietly returned to his apartment through channels that left no trace. Emma called the next day. She was safe, slightly shaken, and had decided to finish her research stint despite the coup. The data was too valuable to abandon. Marcus didn't tell her about the palace. Didn't tell her about the 11 bodies or the plasma burn that would scar his shoulder. He returned to work. The news feeds declared the coup crushed. The trader houses decimated. Villara gave a speech about unity and strength. She never mentioned a human janitor. Marcus cleaned and was invisible and called his daughter every Sunday. 3 years passed. Emma graduated with honors, accepted a position with a xenobiological research firm on a neutral station. Marcus was proud, relieved. She was building a life far from empires and politics and danger. He was cleaning a conference room when his supervisor approached. Webb, you got a commendation. Some kind of long service award from the Krinathi Cultural Exchange Program. The supervisor looked confused. Didn't know you were involved with that. Well, there's a ceremony. Optional attendance. They're giving you a medal or plaque or something? The supervisor shrugged. Probably a mistake, but free food if you go. Marcus went, mostly because refusing might draw more attention. The ceremony was small, bureaucratic. Several humans received awards for various cultural contributions. His citation mentioned exemplary service in cultural understanding and discretion, vague enough to mean nothing. He accepted the plaque, shook some official's hand, and was leaving when he saw her. Valara stood at the back of the hall, dressed in simple diplomatic attire, no guards visible. She met his eyes and gestured slightly toward a side corridor. Marcus followed, instinct and curiosity overriding caution. "You promised invisibility," he said quietly, "and I've kept that promise. This award is legitimate. Cultural exchange programs issue hundreds per year. Yours will be forgotten by next week." She studied him. "You look well." "So do you." "Still alive, I see." "Thanks to you. Twice." She paused. The coup attempt 3 years ago was not the last. There have been others. Smaller, more targeted, good security. Yes. Something flickered across her face. "Marcus Webb, I'm going to tell you something, and then I will leave you in peace. Is that acceptable?" He nodded. The houses who attempted the coup discovered something in their planning. They found records of the first assassination attempt. The one where a human janitor hid in a closet while I fought off my attacker. Her crest rose slightly. They knew it was a lie. Their intelligence was excellent. They spent 2 years searching for that someone. Marcus went very still. They never found you. Your record was clean. Your history buried. But they found your daughter. Valara's voice went soft. Emma Webb, xenobiology researcher, studying Cranathi neural patterns. They identified her as leverage. As bait to draw out the mysterious human who'd saved a queen. When? 4 months before the coup attempt. They planned to take her during the orbital strikes, use her to force your emergence, kill you both in the chaos. Valara's eyes held his. I moved her to the secure vaults. Not as a gift, as a strategy. The coup plotters assumed I didn't know their plan. They left that angle unguarded, focused on direct assault. You used my daughter as a decoy, Marcus said flatly. I used their certainty that I didn't know about you to create a vulnerability in their planning. She didn't look away. Emma was never in danger. The vaults are impregnable. But they thought they had a secret weapon. That arrogance created the opening that let me crush them. Marcus wanted to be angry. Should have been furious. But he'd been a soldier, and he understood tactics. Understood sacrificing comfort for survival. Why tell me this? Because the Cranathi pay their debts in blood. Valara's crest flared, full dominance display. You saved me twice. Asked nothing. I protected your daughter, but that was for my benefit as much as yours. The debt remained unpaid. She gestured, and a holographic display activated. Images flooded the air. Faces. Names. Data streams. 47 individuals, Valara said. Every person in 3 houses who knew about the plan to take Emma. Every analyst who identified her. Every soldier who would have carried out the kidnapping. Every noble who approved the strategy. Her voice went cold. All dead. Executed for treason after the coup failed. Their families stripped of titles. Their fortunes dissolved. Their genetic lines flagged for monitoring across 3 generations. Marcus stared at the cascade of information. Hundreds of people destroyed. Bloodlines ended. All because they'd threatened someone he loved. That's excessive, he managed. That is debt. Valara met his eyes. You never asked for a reward, so I gave you something else. Certainty. No one else knows your face. No one else knows Emma is vulnerable. The knowledge died with them, and I made sure the manner of their death taught the lesson. Those who touch what Marcus Webb protects do not survive.
I'm not yours to protect. No. You're mine to owe.
She smiled, sharp and genuine. The debt is paid, Marcus Webb. The slate is clean. You saved a queen twice. The queen repaid in blood. We are balanced. Emma doesn't know. She never will unless you tell her. She thinks she was just in the right place at the right time. Let her keep thinking that. Valara. She turned back. Thank you, Marcus said quietly, for keeping your word, all of it. I am Princess Queen of the Cranathi Empire, she said. My word is law, my oaths are iron, and my debts are paid in full measure. Her expression softened slightly. You gave me mercy when you could have demanded reward. You asked only for peace. So I give you peace, human, and I give you the certainty that it will not be disturbed. She left. Marcus stood in the corridor for a long time, holding a plaque that meant nothing and everything, thinking about the 47 faces he'd seen, 47 people who died because they threatened his daughter. He should have felt guilty, should have felt something about the disproportionate violence. Instead, he felt relief, and gratitude, and something like understanding. The Krynauthi paid their debts. Valara had promised invisibility and delivered it with absolute finality. No one else would come for Emma. No one else knew the connection. The secret had been excised from the universe with surgical precision and total brutality. Marcus returned to work, cleaned, stayed invisible. Emma called that Sunday, excited about a new research project. Marcus listened and asked questions and was proud. Safe. His daughter was safe and would stay safe because a queen had kept her word. He never saw Valara again. Never needed to. The plaque went in a drawer, forgotten like it was meant to be. But sometimes, cleaning late-night corridors in the quiet stations where humans and Krynauthi worked side by side, Marcus would remember compound eyes focusing on him in a moment of crisis. Would remember a voice saying, "I require your assistance." Would remember 47 faces erased from existence because someone had kept perfect, terrible track of an unpaid debt. The Krynauthi were honorable. Their queens kept their words, and Marcus Webb, maintenance specialist, invisible and unremarkable, knew exactly what that honor looked like when paid in blood. He slept well at night. Two halves.